This video contains spoilers for Cyberpunk 2077, including Phantom Liberty, Mass Effect Trilogy, Star Trek The Next Generation, New Jack City. Also keep in mind that everything I say is my own interpretation of the events. Feel free to share your own thoughts on the matter at hand. Alrighty, hello everyone and welcome back to Cyberpunk 2077. I finally finished the main quest and my first reaction to the ending was... let's say I wasn't exactly happy. Keep in mind the first ending I saw was the one with V ending up on that space station. The worst ending for V. Well, the second worst actually. But we'll get into that at the end of the video. I am making this video to deal with the ending, analyze why it turned out to be the way it did. So if you're not exactly happy with the ending, maybe this helps. So what exactly do I mean by ending or outcome? Now the best that I can do for V is that V dies in 6 months. That reminded me a lot of the ending of Mass Effect. No matter what you do, Shepard dies. But other than in Cyberpunk 2077, saving Shepard's life was never the main goal of the game. The main goal was to stop the Reapers from eradicating all intelligent life in the galaxy. In Cyberpunk, however, the main goal is to find a way to remove the relic without killing V. This is what we're after. At least that's what I thought at first, but I now came to the conclusion that it's not. As far as I'm concerned, the main goal of the story is to make sure Johnny Silverhand does not get control over your body. Now the first part is a little bit obvious, but I include it anyway because I want to consider everything. So let's talk about Johnny Silverhand. Now I think Johnny Silverhand is a really cool guy. He smokes, he's a rock star, he's a rebel against the system, he fights big corporations. But he's really not. He's a paranoid, narcissistic megalomaniac who treats everyone around him like trash. Only thanks to his charisma is he able to recruit others for his terrible ideas. Remind you of anyone? Charles Manson had an entire cult following him. People were even committing murders for him. But is it fair to compare Johnny Silverhand to Charles Manson? No, it's not. It's not fair for Charles Manson. Keep in mind, Johnny Silverhand detonated a nuclear bomb in a densely populated area, killing tens of thousands of people. And he did do it also for personal grudge. By no means is Johnny Silverhand a good guy. He's insane. And that's not exactly a secret, I mean it says it right there. Now you might think, wait, but he detonated the bomb because he fought against an evil corporation. Just because he fought another villain in the story, in this case Arasaka, doesn't automatically make him a good guy. Two equally bad adversaries can fight each other without any one of them being the quote-unquote hero. If you don't understand this concept, watch a movie called Starship Troopers or open a history book. And don't let him fool you when he says he cares about helping you. He just wants to make sure you don't put a gun to your head and pull the trigger. When Hellman makes it clear that there's no way out for V, when he recommends that clinic in Sweden to make it at least painless, and when he points out that Silverhand must never be allowed to walk free again, Johnny immediately shifts his position and says he wants to help you. Don't fall for it. He's trying to play you like everyone else. Just by the way, this isn't an indictment of the writers or Keanu Reeves. On the contrary, it takes a lot to make me hate someone as much as I hate Johnny, and the writing and voice acting of Keanu Reeves did a hell of a job to accomplish that. I cannot praise them enough. There's a scene towards the end of the main quest where Johnny Silverhand gets control over V's body for one night. At some point he seduces a woman in his car which causes an accident. We can see how confused this young woman is of how all of this could have happened. Why she was so easily manipulated into doing something she probably would never do. If you combine Johnny's charisma with V's good looks, it's a recipe for disaster. This moment is there to show the player that no matter what happens, Johnny must never be allowed to take control over another body ever again. The only redeeming thing that this lowlife fucking asswipe ever did was to try to save old Cunningham. For some reason she was the only one that ever meant something to him. That makes the ending where she takes him with her behind the black wall the best ending for Johnny. For him it's like heaven and hell at the same time. To whoever wrote this...
You have no idea how much I needed that.
Now, is it possible that Johnny learned from the experience with V, that he's become a better person due to what happened to V and everything? Maybe. But if you ask me, if I was V, I would never take the chance. So okay, Johnny is an asshole, must be stopped from taking over V's body. But then why not just put a gun to V's head and be done with it? I'm afraid it's not that simple, and that's a good thing. So let's talk about V, Jackie and the heist. Let's start with the heist. The heist is the focal point of all the tragedies in the game, and when I say tragedy, I mean stuff that makes Greek tragedies look like something written by Mel Brooks. Let's start with the deaths. Everyone directly involved in the heist dies. Dexter Deshawn, Evelyn Parker, T-Bug, Jackie, and yes, V. They're all pawns used to get the relic. A bunch of little street criminals who thought they can get into what Jackie called the major leagues. They were in way over their heads and they paid the price for their arrogance. But then what's the point of V staying alive for 6 months longer? What's the point of the story and by extension the game to continue? First, to show the entire extent of the tragedy that the heist is. It's a little bit like this Christmas movie, It's a Wonderful Life. People who died in the heist have friends, relatives who are hurting as a result of this. Judy lost her best friend, Misty lost her lover, Mama Wells lost her son, Victor misses Jackie, and Ishu will miss V. And I haven't even started with the ripple effects. For example, Scorpion dies because V downs Hellman's transport. And then there's Phantom Liberty. Somi could have never gone through with her plan if it wasn't for the relic in V's head. So there's another whole layer of tragedy adding to it. So that's one aspect. Then let's look at Jackie and V prior to the heist. They steal, drink, get in bar fights, kill. Let's say they are not exactly role models. They have no regard for anyone's life, not even their own. They're a bunch of small gangsters who want to be big players, but like 99.99% of them, they failed. They bit off more than they could chew and they paid with their lives. So wait a minute, V and Jackie dying is okay because they are, let's say, not the best people? Well, if you ask me, no. I sympathize with them and I didn't want them to die. But I want to analyze why the ending happened the way it did, and V and Jackie being reckless gangsters certainly is a contributing factor. But wait a minute, you could play Mass Effect as a really evil Shepard, like roughing up people, shoot first, asking questions later. Depending on your playstyle, Shepard could be a monumental motherfucker. So why was Shepard worth saving? Why was there such an outrage about the ending of Mass Effect?
Up to the last fucking 5 minutes of the third fucking game!
I mean, it gave us a priceless piece of art from Boogie which now hangs in the Louvre. I stand corrected. It probably ended up in the trash along with BioWare's reputation. So why was even an evil Shepard worth saving? Because Shepard defeated the Reapers and saved quadrillions of lives. No matter how bad Shepard was, it doesn't outweigh saving the galaxy. What did V ever do? I mean, prior to the heist? Saving Sandra Dossett from the Scavs, but only because money changed hands. I guess otherwise V couldn't care less. However, depending on how you play the game, the V at the end of the game can be completely different from the one at the beginning. It's like the Emperor says to Luke,
Young fool, only now, at the end, do you understand?
And again, that adds another layer of tragedy. Because I had playthroughs where I can say that the V at the end has grown and developed and definitely deserves another chance. So there's another reason why V stays alive after the heist. Making amends. Helping people. Helping Judy to take over Cloud, showing her that revenge doesn't make her feel better. Helping the Paralysis to deal with their struggle against their own mind manipulation. Helping the Delamains who may be crossing the threshold to sentience. Helping the Aldecaldos fix their family issues. In short, redemption. However, the most important point is another one. Remember what Dex asks V first time they meet?
Would you rather live in peace as Mr. Nobody, die ripe, old, and smelling slightly of urine, or go down for all times in a blaze of glory, smelling near like posies, without seeing your 30th?
There is no option to answer I wanna die a nobody. This is something that comes up over and over before the heist. Jackie says it at the beginning at some point, he'd rather die a legend at 30 than stays alive as a nobody. V seems to share this ambition. Number one goal? Get a drink named after you in the afterlife. It's ironic that the place everything starts that killed them is called the afterlife. But that's what it's all about for them. Going down in a big ball of fire. Well, they took care of that going down part. Now the game gives you the chance to further cement your legacy. The more I think about it, the more I think they might be better off this way. There is an episode in Star Trek The Next Generation where Picard tells Wesley that he has an artificial heart. He lost it in a bar fight when somebody stabbed him. He was young and reckless and a hotshot. One weird thing he remembered was that he was laughing when a knife penetrated his body. Years later in another episode, he is near an electrical discharge or something. His artificial heart stops where his real one would have kept beating. Shortly before he dies, Q, an omnipotent being who likes to fuck with Picard, not literally, gives him a choice. He can send him back a few days before the fight and he can make it right. So Picard goes back in time and is all responsible and all grown up and avoids the bar fight and does not have an artificial heart. Q then takes him back to the present, in which Picard's an absolute no one. Most people don't even remember his name. After he spends some time there, he begs Q to rather let him die with his artificial heart and continue this meaningless existence.
I would rather die as the man I was than live the life I just saw.
Now ask yourself, aren't V and Jackie better off this way? They conducted the most crazy heist in the history of Night City. V steals a tank right under the nose of Militech and has sex with the hottest girl in town in the same tank. Well, sort of. Storms Arasaka Tower with the avocado, smashes Adam Smasher's smug face to his face.
The light that burns twice as bright burns half as long.
V and Jackie wanted to go down in a blaze of glory. In glory they got. Speaking of V and Jackie, there's one more thing that I want to address about them. There's a movie called New Jack City about two little street gangsters creating the most powerful criminal organization in the city. But in the end they turn on each other because they didn't want to share that power with anyone, not even with their best friend. I think this is a human trait. Power changes humans and most of the time not for the better. I can't stop thinking about this in regards of Jackie and V. What if they ever really got into the major leagues? Sure, you could claim they would never turn on each other, but who knows? This way they part as friends, as best friends. Now one last thing. Phantom Liberty gives you an ending where V survives. The relic is removed, he doesn't die in 6 months, everything is perfect. But believe me, this isn't exactly a happy ending. It looks a lot like the grim reality of no one that Q showed Picard. It's really remarkable that they put it in there. I didn't think they would do that because it would betray the artistic vision of the story, but instead it further manifests it. You can survive, but you end up an absolute no one. You lose everything and everyone. Your light and your legend in Night City would slowly fade away. I think this is the worst ending. I mean, Mad Gamer's video that I'm showing here is called the saddest ending and they are right on the money. It's a pretty genius move for CD Projekt Red to put this ending in there. Now you prevent the outrage for, let's say, that you had in Mass Effect or in Fallout 3 where people were saying, hey, give us a better ending. On the face of it, this should be the happiest ending of them all. But in reality, it's the worst. No, you just have to accept V's fate. V goes down. Just...
Let there be light.